Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Cowan-Smith. Tonight, South Sudan's Vice President Riek Machar is deposed as head of his party. Machar's removal could upset the delicate political balance in the conflict-stricken country. Also, thousands of anti-government protesters march in Ghana's capital of Accra, demanding an overhaul under the banner Fix the Country. Economic frustration has been exacerbated by the pandemic. The complaints also rail against corruption. And Dancing with the Fishes has never seemed more enticing. Every year, millions of sardines throng along the South African coast, with dolphin and shark joining the parade, eager for a feast amidst the breathtaking marine ballet. But first, South Sudan's vice president turned rebel leader turned vice president once more has been sacked as the head of his party and its armed forces. Riek Machar's removal from leading the SPLM-AIO could upset the delicate post-conflict balance in the country. Now, he was a pivotal figure in South Sudan's descent into civil war in 2013 after the then VP fell out with President Salva Kiir. Around 400,000 people were killed before a fragile peace agreement returned Machar as deputy in 2020. However, divisions remain, and leaders from his party say that he no longer represents their interests and has to go. The party's chief of staff has been named interim head. Regional correspondent Ruben Kiama tells us more.
According to the latest news reports quoting his members of the party, Machar has actually been accused of what they are saying completely having failed to show leadership and therefore weakening the party's position in the current coalition government, which was formed in early 2020. Some say the former rebel leader, who is now turned politician, has been engaged in a divide and rule political kind of system. And the military has also blamed him of practicing what they are calling nepotism, dishing out positions to members of his family rather than advancing their party interest in the coalition government.
Now, has there been any response from Machar's office from his removal from his post in the party?
Well, as at the moment, there has been no immediate reaction from Machar's office, but political pundits in the region are keenly watching as they ponder his next move. Certainly, there are fears that a split could reignite fighting from the prolonged civil war.
So you touched on some of the delicacy of the political situation in the country at the moment. What more can you tell us about what this shake-up could mean for the still unstable country?
Well, Machar has been a pivotal figure in South Sudan's bloody struggle for independence, but it's still unclear what this ouster means to the troubled country's peace process. The party says it has now elevated its chief of staff, Lieutenant General Simon Gatwech-Dual, to be the interim leader of the opposition movement. But at the moment, it's still unclear what the future holds. But we probably will have to wait and see his next move in the coming days.
Ruben Carbon there for us. Now, thousands of anti-government protesters marched in Ghana's capital on Wednesday with demands for an overhaul of the country. It's the latest rally under the online hashtag of Fix the Country. Now, Ghana is democratically stable, but political tensions have ramped up ever since President Nana Akufo-Addo won last December's election by a slim margin. He's increasingly faced calls from demonstrators to do more to help them deal with economic pressures made worse by the pandemic. But complaints also include frustration over education, the health system, and public sector corruption.
We are here because we are citizens and we care about the country. The government shouldn't think we are here because we are carrying a different party flag. So we are pushing party agenda. This is the agenda of a country called Ghana. We want Ghana to succeed, so we are all here on that agenda.
No, we have no grounds in politics. We have no grounds in governance. We have no grounds to make any national contributions. The government does not know what is called meritocracy. He is doing everything with self-interest.
Well, in South Africa, jailed ex-president Jacob Zuma will be let out next week to attend a hearing for a long-running corruption trial. The 79-year-old started a 15-month jail term for contempt of court on a separate case last month. His first appearance for the corruption trial took place via video link. Now, Zuma faces 16 charges of fraud, graft, and racketeering relating to multi-billion-dollar purchases from arms firms in 1999 when he was vice president. Tunisia has seen the world's worst death toll from COVID-19, but the worst of its latest peak may be over. However, a critical shortage of oxygen and vaccines in short supply leaves the country facing an urgent challenge to speed up its inoculation campaign. Shirley Sitbin tells us more.
They were sent from China, Italy, France, the United Arab Emirates, Algeria, and through the COVAX scheme. In the past 10 days, Tunisia has received 7 million vaccine doses for a population of 12 million. Its vaccination campaign now seems in full speed.
Au début, c'était vraiment un chiffre très bas, autour de 400, 500 citoyens vaccinés par jour. Mais hier, l'effectif, c'était 1200 vaccinés par jour.
When the latest wave of COVID hit Tunisia, only about 10% of the population had been vaccinated. Over the past 7 days, its COVID mortality rate was the highest in the world. Many accused the government of mismanaging the pandemic. As the president sacked the cabinet and froze parliament, hospitals were overwhelmed by the number of cases and a shortage of oxygen, whose market price jumped.
انت كي تجي ترجع في الماكينه تفيق بها اللي ماهيش عند المريض اللي كريت له تطلب ويقول لك لحظه تنرجع لك يرجع لك تصير مشاكل في الترجيع وحاسيل كاريه من تحت كاريه كما نقول. هذا اللي خلق معناها من الاول ازمه. من بعد التجار هذوما ازدهرت التجاره نتاعهم وشريوا ماكينات ولاو معناها يحكموا في الاسعار في اسعار الكريم تاع الماكينات هذي.
Some of those infected died because they could not get enough oxygen. Tunisians hope that if they have to face another wave of COVID in the future, they would be better prepared and protected.
Uganda's claimed its first Olympic medal. 22-year-old Perith Chemutai claimed gold in the women's 3,000-metre steeplechase, setting a new national record. Meanwhile, Emmanuel Korir won the men's 800 metres Olympic title on Wednesday, with compatriot Ferguson Rotich taking silver to put some gloss on their country's athletics medal haul at the Tokyo Games. And finally, Dancing with the Fishes has never seemed more enticing. Every year, millions of sardines throng through the cold currents off the South African coast during the winter months, crescendoing up to a peak in July. Dolphin and shark join the dance, looking for a feast and contributing to a spectacular marine ballet. Take a look.
Dolphins show the trail. They rush and jump as far as the eye can see. They are on the hunt. They track a prey only they can follow off South Africa's east coast, a sure indicator of the upcoming feast.
This is a super pod of common dolphins, so you just sort of reach there. Thousands and thousands of common dolphins, and these guys are always seen associated with the sardine run.
The sardine run is the annual migration of millions of sardines in this part of the Indian Ocean. The giant shoal of cold water fish attracts marine predators and, in turn, tourists. After several hours at sea, they strike it lucky. The Cape Gannets are there already. This is a bait ball. It's a group of sardines that predators have cut off from the main shoal. Dolphins surround and herd the fish up from the deep sea to the surface. The chaos is actually a choreographed dance made possible through the symbiotic relationship between the different predators. The feast can begin.
Sardines are always looking for depth, for protection, so they're trying to go down deep, and that's where the sharks come in. The sharks are at the bottom, stopping them from going down. So you got the sharks at the bottom, you got the dolphins around the edges.
Finally, the most menacing guest arrives, stealthily, deadly. The large dusky shark joins the feeding frenzy. The sardines frantically try to escape, but the bait ball is decimated in minutes.
Oh my God, what an experience. If you haven't had that, you're not living. You gotta have that. That is an amazing experience.
The chase is over and the hunters go their way. Scientists believe the sardine run is linked to the fish's reproductive cycle. The hunt will repeat itself many times over the next 3 to 4 months as kilometers of shoals migrate until the sardines disappear back into the open sea.
What a beautiful sight. Well, that is, though, where we'll have to leave it for Eye on Africa. Thanks for joining us, and do so again if you can. Take care.